The number of men forced to be celibate is quite alarming, and emphasis, as you can see in the title, forced. Okay, and this is a subject that really needs to be talked about because it seems like this problem is getting out of hand. And for anyone wondering, yeah, it is literally a problem because every time I make these videos or podcasts, I get some guys on here talking about it's not just about women. Well, two things, right? Before I get into it, first of all, this is a Tarek Talks Midnight podcast. Sit down, relax, and enjoy. If you smoking something, smoke something. If you're more on the healthier side, get you a little mixed veggie or fruit drink. Sit down and relax. This is going to be an important one, right? So two things before I even start. First of all, this is what this channel is about. It's about women, relationship, dynamics, and it is part of my purpose. Guess what? I get monetized off of this. Okay? What are you doing? You're just do you get monetized for leaving troll comments? No, you don't. So before you're like, oh, get on your purpose, this is my purpose. One of them. Right? Second of all, it's not just get out of this shallow mind state of, oh, it's just women and it's not important. Just get on your purpose. Y'all, male and female, I'm talking, and hell, even if we're talking about same sex, right? It doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not, right? But of course, on my channel, I'm talking about straight male-female dynamics, okay? In any case, in any orientation, human intimacy is one of our key needs. It is one of our it's right up there with food and water. It is right up there with food and water because they had studies that showed that would show that when a child is left abandoned in a room, neglected, no kind of human contact, he's not right. He or she does not end up growing up right. And they have some kind of mental disability, right? So that's how important human interaction or, in intimacy dynamic, if we're talking about male, female, that's how important that shit is. It's important to the point where it causes mental damage. Okay, so it's not just some sort of topic that's shallow, like, oh man, F these modern thoughts and all that. And yeah, I get it. Your purpose, your passion, your hobby, your health, it comes first. I get this and I completely agree. But at some point, intimacy dynamics are extremely important. This is why we get a lot of these men on here that make these black pill channels, make these incel channels, because it's really affecting them mentally. It's really hurting them on an emotional and mental scale. You dig? It's not just like some shallow kind of topic. It's real. It's affecting these young men on a deep level. And let's not get it twisted. We've always had men that were forced to be celibate. We've always had that since the beginning of time. You see all these 80s movies, they'll have the stereotypical nerdy guy meme in those movies, right? And I'm just talking about the 80s. I'm not talking about, there's been men forced to be celibate since the beginning of time, right? But it wasn't, I don't believe, now I wasn't born or didn't live in that era, but I can kind of, seeing my grandparents, seeing my parents, their friends, their relatives, almost every single one of them had a family, and a lot of them they weren't the I'll put it to you like this. They weren't the Chad or Tyrone types. They're just average. Hell, some of them I'll even, throw out my own family members. Some of them were below average. Okay. But nonetheless, the point is everybody found somebody. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Right. But now more than ever, young men, they're having difficulty. It's like getting a woman is some kind of Rubik's Cube. And there's many factors to this, right? There's many factors. One factor is, women now, they're way more liberated, right? Way more liberated, meaning they're more into superficial things now, such as, looks. And this is a very heated debate. Because you guys know I'm not one of these looks maxing channels. I'm not one of these lookism channels that say if you don't look like a Norwegian Chad or a fucking super athlete black Tyrone, right, that you're not gonna get a woman. I'm not one of these channels that say that, okay? But let's, I'm being real here. I will give men the benefit of the doubt. Women are now more superficial in their mating criteria. And you can kind of say, in a weird paradoxical way, you can kind of say they're actually more primitive in their mating decision, right? Because let's just imagine this. Let's imagine, when humanity first started, what were women looking for, right? They were looking for men with signs of strength, and what do these include? Athleticism, the body type, physically fit body, right? And of course, face. And once again, do not misconstrue me with one of these fucking channels that say if your eyelids aren't 0.2 centimeters away from your eyeballs, right, that you're not going to get any women, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. But like I was saying, let's be completely honest. The face had a little to do with it. And let me get one thing straight as well. I'm pretty sure those cavemen didn't look like some pretty boy models, right? They were rough looking. They had beard. They had grizzly, they had rougher aspects to their face. Okay. So they didn't look like TikTok pretty boys. You feel me? But like I was saying, those were factors, primitive wise, looking for strength, looking for brute strength, for musculature. That's why me and of course Rom Wills, shout out Rom Wills, we always talk about the body game, right? So women are a little more primitive now. And another thing that's even intensifying that, paradoxically, is social media and I'm going to call it virtual reality, right? Because in my humble opinion, smartphones, the internet, dating sites, all of this is virtual reality. It's a virtual world. Okay. And all of these platforms, they encourage very shallow mating criteria, right? So now women are kind of going, they're acting similar to men now in the way that their criteria is, right? Now, once again, do not misconstrue it. I see average men get chicks all the time, but these guys, they don't look like models, but what they do have is a solid personality, masculinity. And a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys that refute this, once again, I'm really talking about those guys, is the ones that are forced celibate, that are forced to be celibate, these type of guys. Okay. And back to the point I was making a little earlier. Yes, these guys have been around for millennia, but now even more than ever. Okay. Now even more than ever, for once, what I kind of alluded to is the sedentary lifestyle. A lot of men are not built like men, right? And a lot of guys feel like talking about working out is shallow. Well, that's utter bullshit. And this is proof. This is proof. It's proof. A lot of guys think being physically fit and being having a masculine body build is shallow. See, this is part of the problem, right? Women go for men who look like men. Okay, women go for men who look like men. This is why me and Ron Wills, once again, we preach the body game so hard. It is going to help you out so fucking much, right? That's besides the point, though. Besides the point. I'm getting off track. I'm getting off topic. The point I'm making is a lot of guys are, since they are caught up in this virtual reality. Once again, what I just alluded to, right? Social media, OnlyFans, adult websites, all of these things. So what it's doing is it's giving men instant dopamine, instant pleasure. So therefore, what happens is they're comfortable. They live in an air conditioned building. They can look at all the pretty girls that they want to at a click of a button, all that good stuff. So they're sedentary. They don't feel. And then on top of that, not only is it a body thing that's soft, it's also a mental thing, because when these guys are cooped up, they don't get sunlight, right? I'll just put it like that. They're cooped up, always on their computer, always on their phone, caught up in a virtual reality. They're not or video games. I didn't even mention video games. Okay, nothing against my guys that play video games, but it is a huge factor. So they're caught up in this virtual reality. So what this means is they're not interacting with people. They're not interacting with women or men, for that matter, because a lot of these guys that are forced celibates, you'll notice they don't even have any male friends. I want you guys to think about that. A lot of them don't even have any male friends. Now let's delve into some reasons why these guys are being forced to be celibate, right? Or have barely any contact with women, not even so much as a kiss. For one, social awkwardness. They have no kind of social awareness. They have no kind of social calibration. They're extremely awkward. Whenever they see a girl, they act like they just seen an alien pop up. They act like and let's not even front. When we see pretty girls as men, yeah, we get a little nervous, right? We do get a little nervous, but at some point, we're just like, F it. We're like, F it. Here goes nothing, right? And I'm not much of a cold approach type of guy, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't have its place. At the very least, it'll help you somewhat get some social skills. So, hey, look, you got rejected. It's okay. You got rejected. You know how it feels. Now you're building up confidence. Okay. You're building up battle. It's like a boxer, like Mike Tyson. He had to spar before he got into the actual ring. Okay. You got to practice. Kobe, he had to practice before he stepped on the court. He was shooting threes and practicing his dribbles before he even stepped foot on the court. He spent hours in training. It's kind of the same way with approaching women, right? Hey, look, you're gonna miss some of your shots, but it's all good though. It's practice. Allen Iverson, it's practice. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, we want the practice. So when you step foot on the battlefield, you'll be better prepared. And hey, look, if you get rejected, it's all gravy. You're still alive. It might have been a tad bit embarrassing, but guess what? You got embarrassed. Not it's gonna be another chance, right? But now it's like men don't even bother. They don't even bother to go out there and get their hands dirty. They're just like, oh, these females just want attention and validate. Some of them do, but I would be sitting here and lying to you if I told you that 100% of the women that I've encountered, right, only wanted to use me for validation. Did some of them? Yeah, of course. But guess what? There was even more that wanted to use me for intimacy purpose, that wanted to actually hang out with me, right? And I got rejected, fellas. It's been plenty of times I got rejected. Plenty. I didn't for three chicks that rejected me, it was one that was fucking with me heavy the long way, right? Coming to my spot, we would hang out, have a blast. Everything was copacetic. You dig? But that's what it is. Like, a lot of guys just give up. They're like, I'm ugly, I'm not 6 foot whatever. You know, we have this whole craze about being a 6'4" Aryan, model now, right? And they're like, if you're not 6'4" and Aryan with blue and blonde hair, with blue eyes and blonde hair, you're just not getting no play, which is fucking ridiculous, And that's one huge reason. Another is, mental disabilities. A lot of guys have mental disabilities, right? And that's something that they can't really help, right? So that's very minuscule. And I'm gonna add on deformities. God forbid, physical deformities. That's also an extremely minuscule percentage. The vast majority of men are average, healthy men. Okay, they're really not healthy, but that's due to their own volition. That's due to their own doing, right? They're not healthy because they fuck themselves up by eating junk food and not exercising and stuff. And mentally, they're also mentally unhealthy. That's the vast majority. And so therefore, the number of these men is increasing to the point where, like, damn, they can't even get any. A lot of guys, fellas, I'm telling you, it's scary. A lot of guys never even had so much of a fucking kiss from a chick. Not even a kiss, right? And it can be changed. It's just that a lot of them are stuck in their, they're stuck in their ways. They just have this outlook that they're never gonna get any kind of play ever in their life. Hey, who can? If you only get 3 women in your whole life, whatever. Okay. If those chicks are with you for you and they love you for you and you built yourself up, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay. But this is something to think about. Okay. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.